Hello, my name is Paige Landry, and today I will be presenting the benchmark of organizational design, structure, and change for a very popular fast food option that we have here in America. Chipotle Mexican Grill is a premier fast food chain within the food service industry that continually provides quality customer service and exceptional food sourcing options. With hundreds of locations throughout the country, Chipotle separates itself from other restaurants by delivering the highest quality ingredients to customers. Providing consumers with organic, local produce allows for healthier ingredients to be available to hundreds of consumers and protects the welfare of animals by sourcing only from responsible farms. Sustainability is consistently pushed throughout organizational efforts as used gloves are reused as waste bags and efforts are being made to limit amount of waste within landfills. Landing on Fortune's Most Admired list has fallen short for Chipotle as numerous dimensions have been marked extremely low. Chipotle has been notably recognized for its sustainable and global efforts to limit its ecological footprint on communities, yet its ability to promote social responsibility, people management, and quality of products and services has not been met. Numerous stakeholders and consumers determine whether the restaurant is respected within its industry with the ability to retain customers. With a high market value and high profit, most would assume that Chipotle landed on Fortune's list, yet this was soon met with adversity as controversy began to surround the fast food chain. As you look at the chart on the right-hand side, you can see what Chipotle was marked as of recent 2021 year on the Fortune's Most Admired list. Unfortunately, many of these dimensions has not been met, and Chipotle seems to face adversity within many of its efforts driven by the organization. As the subsequent E. coli outbreaks made headlines in 2015, Chipotle fell short on its ability to maintain a high quality of products and services. Many individuals who reported the outbreak ate the same food at varying Chipotle locations and were unable to determine a specific item or ingredient that caused the outbreak. Multiple concerns of quality assurance were brought to the restaurant's attention, as it was unclear how a fast food chain that notably utilized organic, fresh produce was responsible for individuals getting ill. Consumers were unable to trust which location held safer quality standards from another, as several incidents of salmonella, norovirus, and E. coli were reported between 2015 and 2016. Several individuals stated that they did not feel comfortable eating at the restaurant, which deeply affected business and revenue as well. As a direct result of the reported outbreaks, Chipotle saw a major loss of revenue and consumer retention. The company was offered to pay a $25 million fine as the result of the foodborne illness outbreaks, as FDA regulations were violated against. As more than hundreds of consumers fell ill as a direct result of this outbreak, Chipotle also closed all stores on February 8, 2016, to implement safety regulations and discuss employee concerns. Sales tremendously fell short during this time frame, and lawsuits were filed by those who fell ill. If Chipotle failed to address and implement new safety procedures as a result, revenue would continue to fall short, and little employee and consumer retention would be held. Efforts must be issued to avoid the possibility of an outbreak from reoccurring in the future. As a previous Chipotle employee, there is division of labor within restaurants to maximize productivity and retain customer satisfaction. There are cashiers, food prep employees, and employees on the line to ensure that customers are promptly attended to and customers remain satisfied throughout their time visiting. This division of labor also creates diminished worker satisfaction, as employees on the line are expected to know each position in case another employee calls out or quits, causing high levels of stress during the typical rush hours. Leadership also dwindles down from the CEO, Chief Communications Officer, Chief Marketing Officer, and Chief Restaurant Officer to ensure that effective decision-making is met at each level within the organization. As social media efforts drive business today, campaigns and social issues are consistently pushed throughout varying channels to strengthen social responsibility and also monitor changes in policies as well. Chipotle embodies the conscious culture by ensuring that each employee, stakeholder, and consumer is addressed throughout organizational efforts. Once the E. coli outbreak was reported, the restaurant quickly implemented new safety policies such as temperature and wellness checks when employees would clock in. Multiple companies were unable to source the restaurant with ingredients and meat options to avoid the potential outbreak from reoccurring and to ultimately protect each employee and customer as well. The implemented mental health effort provided by the restaurant Also ensures that employees are fully provided with the opportunity to utilize health insurance and influence efforts to protect their well-being. Sourcing innovative options that are accessible to each consumer also ensures that the business is not run on self-interest, but instead operated under the community and environmental investment. Launching a food safety campaign would seek to identify foodborne illnesses and raise awareness about following safety protocol measures. Collaborative efforts between leaders and CDC members would allow for a binding coalition to be created, which would emphasize the level of concern for employees and customers. The safety campaign would also be launched on all social media channels to reach the desired audience and provide safety protocols to address their questions. Fast food chains have the responsibility of providing ideal customer service to preserve the number of customers that visit the restaurants. Customers essentially drive business, and their opinions are highly valued in order to exceed their expectations of Chipotle. Instituting this change can also come at the price of incentivizing employees to adhere to the safety concerns by providing paid time off opportunities and promotions as well. Holding the safety concerns at the forefront of organizational efforts would also allow customers to be provided with necessary levels of care and attention. Specific challenges would include employee adversity, limited resources, and lack of self-sufficiency. Employees are less likely to implement changes as it will not yet be determined whether such updates will allow for the success of the company. Incentivizing employees may also be a limited option as revenue was deeply affected by the outbreak and the company has numerous lawsuits at hand that need to be dealt with as soon as possible. If employees are not willing to collaborate with one another and think critically for the best options, the restaurant may not be able to ensure that self-starting these efforts is a feasible option. Employees must feel supported and respected by their leaders to ensure that the training properly addresses and implements useful strategies. Supportive followership must be implemented to ensure that the maximization of organizational productivity and care is met at several levels. Employees must be adequately provided with training opportunities that address levels of concern and independence in order to develop their needs and strengthen organizational development. Leaders must also provide employees with key expectations of implementing the safety policies to ensure there's a key sense of direction at each level and work priorities are organized. Encouraging decision-making skills will also generate organizational success by creating an interconnected system of both managers and leaders. Employees who are connected to the organizational values will produce honest and open communication and prioritize their work processes daily. Implementing these efforts will create organizational unity and heighten performance at each level. Leaders must remain open, honest, and accountable for their actions to further develop relationships and a continued job development. Employees are more likely to follow organizations that meet both personal and organizational needs to increase professional development. Job specialization must also be met to enhance adaptability and decision-making efforts of organizations. Employees must have a clear sense of job expectations and sense that compassion and authenticity is driven within organizational efforts. Leaders must always disclose a higher purpose to heighten levels of care and attentiveness of personal efforts and also drive the values within the organization. Recognizing the need for improvement daily also ensures that organizations remain current with the needs of societies and develop efforts that match with present needs within the workplace. The organizational perspective directly impacts work efficiency, emotions, and diligence of leaders and employees. A sense of teamwork and engagement must also be felt at each level. Thank you so much.